All right, today we are diving into a story that is just epic. It's a tale of impossible strength, a father's critical warning, and a mission that literally shook the heavens. This is the story of the coming of Garuda, a quest he took on not for power or for glory, but to free his own mother from slavery. So let me just ask you this. Picture the scene. It sounds like some kind of bizarre riddle, doesn't it? But for our hero, this was a very real, very sudden crisis. See, his main goal is to steal the nectar of immortality from the gods. But first, he's got to deal with this. In one single, fleeting moment, our hero faced a challenge that probably not even the gods, the Devas themselves, could have handled. He was already flying with his next meal, which happened to be a massive elephant and a tortoise, when the very branch he was resting on just snapped right under him. I mean, you really have to stop and think about the scale of what he's dealing with here. The sheer physics of this situation are they're completely mind-boggling. Okay, so he's already got the elephant and the tortoise clutched in his talons. Then he has to catch this falling branch, and get this, the branch is described as being 100 yojanas long. That is an immense, immense distance. But believe it or not, that's not even the most complicated part. Because hanging upside down from that very branch, deep in meditation, were the Balakhilyas, a group of sacred, totally revered, thumb-sized sages. So now he has to somehow manage colossal weight and incredible fragility all at the exact same time. And this single act is about to define him forever. You know, the sages themselves, seeing this unbelievable display of both raw power and delicate care, are the ones who give him his name. Right here, in this moment, he becomes Garuda, the one who bears an impossible burden. His identity is literally forged by this one incredible act. So now he's carrying this entire unbelievable load, and he's flying around looking for a safe place to put everything down. He spots Mount Gandhamarana, and on it he sees his own father, the great sage Kashyapa, deep in meditation. And this encounter, well, it turns out to be absolutely pivotal. So when Kashyapa looks up, he doesn't just see his son. He sees a cosmic force. He sees a being as big as a mountain peak, as quick as light itself, and so fierce he's compared to Yama, the god of death. He recognizes that his son has the power to destroy all three worlds, that he's basically invincible against gods, demons, you name it. But Kashyapa is wise. He knows there are different kinds of power out there. He warns his son, basically saying, look, your physical strength is off the charts, but be careful with these sages. He says they possess something called tapasya shakti, a spiritual power born from intense asceticism that could strike down even someone as mighty as you. It's a huge lesson. Brute force isn't always the answer. To solve this very delicate situation, Kashyapa steps in and speaks directly to the sages. He explains that his son is on a truly noble mission, one that's for the good of all living things, and he asks for their blessing. Well, the tiny Munis hear this, they release the branch, and they just peacefully head off to the Himalayas. Crisis averted. Okay, so the sages are safe. That's one problem solved. But Garuda still has an issue. He's got 100 yojana-long branch in his beak and an elephant and a tortoise in his talons. He asks his father to point him to a place where there are no people so he can finally finish his task and have his meal. Kashyapa tells him about a remote, totally inaccessible mountain. And just like that, Garuda is gone. The text says he crosses lakhs of yojanas in a mere moment. It's just unbelievable speed. He arrives over the mountain, and finally, he lets go of the branch. And the impact is just cataclysmic. The sound is immense. The storm from his wings alone shakes the mountain. And that falling branch, it shatters the mountain's jeweled peaks and sends countless trees crashing down. Finally, he can perch on the summit and eat. So, as Garuda is finishing his meal and taking to the skies again, the story suddenly shifts. We're now in Devaloka, the realm of the gods, and something is terribly, terribly wrong. These awful, terrifying omens start appearing out of nowhere, and the gods are absolutely terrified. You know, the scariest part for them is that there's no enemy in sight. This isn't a war they were expecting. There's no demon army at the gates. The chaos seems to be coming from the very fabric of reality itself, and they have no idea why. And these omens are just signs of pure cosmic dread. We're talking flaming meteors falling in broad daylight. The gods' own divine weapons start fighting each other. Even Indra's legendary thunderbolt, the Vajra, is said to blaze with terror. And on top of all that, the sky starts roaring with no clouds in sight as it rains blood. So, in a total panic, the gods run to their guru, Brihaspati, who finally tells them what's going on. He says all this chaos is being caused by a single being, a sky ranger who is on his way to do the impossible, steal the Amrita, the sacred nectar that makes them immortal. The gods are stunned. But that amazement and fear quickly turns into resolve. They are not going to let the Amrita be taken. No way. They are the guardians of immortality, and they are going to prepare for war. And just like that, the stage is set for a truly epic showdown. On one side, you've got Garuda, a singular, unstoppable force of nature on a righteous quest. And on the other side, the entire army of gods armed to the teeth, protecting their most sacred treasure. And let's be clear, their arsenal is staggering. You have Indra leading the charge with his Vajra. The Vasus and Rudras are there with their chakras and spiked maces. The Adityas have their tridents. And all of them possess these mystic astras, basically supernatural missiles of unimaginable power. This is the full might of heaven, all assembled in one place. So just imagine the scene. They're decked out in priceless, impenetrable golden armor, their very forms shining as bright as fire. The entire divine army stands around the nectar, totally calm, totally determined. These are peerless warriors, the destroyers of Asura cities, and they're waiting. So, here we are. An unstoppable force is about to meet an immovable object. A being who can do what seems impossible is about to face the entire combined might of the heavens. When this battle finally begins, who's going to be left standing?